Hello everyone. In this video and PowerPoint presentation, we will learn about a 5-paragraph essay writing. When you learn about this model, like 5-paragraph essay writing, you can apply what you learn here to other kinds of essay. It doesn't matter if you have like 7-paragraph essays, 10-paragraph essay, what have you. Doesn't matter. So we learned this typical style of essay writing today, and later you can apply what you learned to other kinds of essay. All right, first, let's take a look at the structure of the whole essay. As you see here in this photo, there are 5 paragraphs. The first one is introduction, the second, third, and fourth body paragraphs, and the last one is conclusion. We will take a look at each one of them one by one. So, as you see, an introduction has 3 parts: grabber, intro, and thesis. Body paragraphs have 2 parts: topic sentences and supporting sentences. And a conclusion has 3 parts: recap, so what, and memorable statement. Let's get into more details. An introduction has a grabber, intro, and thesis. Grabber, intro, and thesis, what are they? One by one. A grabber is something that you write in order to grab your reader's attention. It should be something really interesting, or something really shocking, or whatever it is. The only job that a grabber does is to make your reader interested to continue. Okay. How to write a grabber? But one more thing about a grabber. A grabber is very similar to the first 5 minutes of a movie. When you are on Netflix, for example, and you want to choose a movie to watch, you don't know what to watch. You choose one movie and you watch only the first 5 or 10 minutes of it, and then you realize, oh, this is not what I want. It's kind of boring. You stop and you look for another movie. A grabber is very much like that. If I read the first sentence, the first or second sentence of your essay, and I'm not interested already, if I have a choice, I tune out and start another essay to read. So make sure that you make your reader interested to continue. How? There are different things you can do. For example, you can ask a question or two. You can have a quotation. You can use challenging a common idea, definition, fact, statistics, and startling statement. We will get through all of them one by one. For example, when you ask a question as your grabber, you can write something like, is Canada a dreamland for everybody? And don't forget, you're not supposed to answer this question. You just ask this question to make your reader interested. So when you ask a question or two, be careful not to ask the essay question. For example, if the essay question is Canadian multiculturalism successful? Don't ask the same question and say, is Canada successful in multicultural policies, for example? That's very similar to the essay question. Don't ask the same question that you're answering in the essay. So, in other words, do not ask the essay question. Do not ask the topic. Do not answer the question. It's only there to make your reader interested, and don't ask an irrelevant question. So in this case, the essay question is Canadian multiculturalism successful? So the question for this grabber is Canada a dreamland for everybody? Okay, so that's your first sentence question. You can use a quotation. When you're writing an essay, most of the times you are writing a research essay. And in a research essay, you do some research and you read some articles. In the articles, you will find some sentences which are really interesting to start your essay with. So you can just copy and paste it. So a quotation could be a good start for your introduction. But be careful. Start with the quotation, not the name of the author. Usually when you use a quotation, you could say something like, according to so and so, and then you bring the quotation. But if you're using a quotation for a grabber, start with the quotation right away. Say what this person is saying, and then in parentheses or after that, you can say, according to whoever or says whoever. Do not write a long quotation. You have something like 100 words to write your introduction, 150 words to write your introduction. If your quotation is long, then you're not being concise. So choose a very concise, short and sweet quotation if you want to use this strategy as your attention grabber. And don't forget to cite. An example of a quotation as a grabber is Canada is the homeland of equality, justice, and tolerance. Who said it? Kim Campbell. All right, so don't say, according to Kim Campbell, Canada is the homeland of no. Start with a quotation if you're using it as a grabber. Another way to start your introduction is challenging a common idea. What that means is you basically say something quite contrary to what people generally believe about your topic, right? Think about what people think about your topic, then challenge it. When you do that, don't be careful not to contradict yourself. Like if you in your essay, you're actually arguing that multiculturalism in an aspect is successful in Canada. Don't challenge it and say multiculturalism is not successful in Canada. Okay, so do not contradict yourself. Do not say something similar to your thesis or your topic sentence. Right? So say something different. Don't repeat yourself. And do not say something irrelevant to your topic. Right? It should be related to your topic. Example in this point. Canada is not the dreamland it poses to be, not for everybody. Right? So what do most of the people around the world think of Canada? Most people think that Canada is a #1 country to live in for immigration, right? For immigrants. You're challenging this common idea and you're saying something opposite, like this one. So if you're using this strategy, think about what people think of one topic and challenge it. Say something opposite. Definition is another way to start your introduction, but be careful. Do not define something obvious. I had some students who were supposed to write about cell phone use in classroom, and they started their introduction by defining what cell phone is. This is boring. Everybody knows what cell phone is. Define only if you think it is necessary for your readers to know the definition. Um, Definition is usually boring to start your attention grabber, but sometimes, very rarely, you need to start with the definition, otherwise your reader is lost just from the beginning. For example, once I asked students to write whether or not an honor system works for a coffee shop business in Toronto. Almost certainly, the readers don't know what honor system in payment is. So you need to provide a definition of what honor system is and then continue your argument. Okay, so only define the things that you think it is necessary for your readers to know the definition. Without knowing the definition of the item, the reader cannot understand your point. If that's the case, provide a definition. Example of it, multiculturalism means not only accepting, but also respecting differences. Fact. You could use fact as your grammar, right? Some fact. When you do so, make sure that you do not use an uninteresting fact, because the job of a grabber is to make your reader interested, not to give information. All right? So when you're using fact, make sure the fact is interesting. Don't use general information as fact. If people know it and it's general information and it's a fact, don't use it. It's not interesting. And do not use facts that do not do the purpose of grabbing your reader's attention. That's the job of the grabber. Make your reader interested. That's it. That's all. Example, Canada is #1 destination for immigrants around the world. That's a fact. And it's interesting. Maybe. I think so. Statistics. You can use the statistics, numbers, figures for your grabber. But when you do, make sure that you always cite your stats, where this information comes from. And don't forget not to use uninteresting stats. You have a statistics, but it should be interesting. Otherwise, don't use it. Use it for your body paragraphs. Don't use irrelevant statistics. Everything you use should be related to your topic. And don't forget to connect the start to the stats to your intro. So you have statistics as your grabber, but it shouldn't be isolated in your paragraph. It should be connected to your intro. Example, every year about 400,000 people, 400,000 new immigrants choose Canada to live in. Right? This is also a fact. So statistics could be useful for grammar. Another strategy is a startling statement. You could use a shocking statement, but be careful to be logical. So think critically and avoid logical fallacies. Just because you want to have a shocking statement or startling statement doesn't mean you could say whatever. Doesn't mean you can be illogical. So avoid logical fallacies. Use a statement that is related to your topic always, all the time. That's the case. And if your statement is too controversial, you got to cite. Example, Canada could not have been the prosperous country without the help of immigrants. That's a startling statement. Right. When you decide about your attention grabber, then you gotta think of your argument. You gotta think of your thesis statement before you think of your intro. So, what is a thesis statement? A thesis statement is the main idea of the essay, right? When I read your thesis statement, I know what your argument is. I know what the topic is. I know what you're trying to say in one sentence. It is the most general sentence of the essay. It means if the essay is about, let's say, cell phone use in classroom in colleges, then that's it. You can't talk about cell phone use in Canada as in the whole country, because you have limited your topic to classroom. Therefore, that's the most general idea that you can use in the essay. So a thesis statement should also be narrow, should be specific for the size of the essay. Usually a 5-paragraph essay is like 750 words, 800 words. Then make sure that your thesis statement is not too broad, too general. For that, you need to write a book, not something specific, okay? The thesis statement has an argument. We have talked about argument, so please refer to our lecture, argument. Thesis statement must answer the essay question. I remember once I asked the students to write an essay on whether or not parents should pay for their children's post-secondary education. A few students wrote about the importance of post-secondary education. Yes, post-secondary education is important because of these reasons, therefore parents should pay. That's irrelevant. We don't want to know whether post-secondary education is important or not important. We want to know who should pay for it. So your thesis statement should be answering the essay question. Otherwise, the whole essay will be irrelevant. Don't use facts, questions, quotations, or statistics. It should be an argument, not evidence. Don't state the obvious. Don't say something that we already know. So it should be something informative and an argument. It shouldn't be an announcement. What does that mean? It means don't say this essay will discuss whatever. Or in this essay, we will discuss whatever. Don't announce it, just write it. Thesis statement should also have parallel structures. Parallel structures meaning, if you're using the points for your body paragraphs, they should be from the same kind. And we have already talked about it. Please refer to my lecture on parallel structures. Thesis statement should be one sentence only, and it should be short and sweet, not overloaded, not too long, right? And it should not have examples in it. Don't say such as, don't say for example, don't say like in your thesis statement. An example of a thesis statement. Here we've got two thesis statements. One with the points that you're going to include in your body paragraphs, and one without. Example, many Asian immigrants are victims of discrimination in their workplace in Canada. That's a thesis statement without points. Same thesis statement with points. Many Asian immigrants are victims of discrimination in their workplace in Canada and as a result are not paid fairly, treated respectfully, or promoted comparatively. So again, the difference between the first example and the second example is that the first does not have the points, the second does. I would say the second one is a strong thesis statement, but the first one is not wrong. It's okay too. It's only your choice. After you know what your thesis statement is and you know what your grabber is, now you have to connect these two together. You need to write a couple of sentences to do so. And to do that, you can do a variety of ways, uh, different ways to write an intro. But here I have two examples, right? You could explain how Canada is believed to be such a great country for immigrants for a couple of general reasons in your intro. Then in the thesis, state that your idea is different for several solid reasons. Or you could say, explain how Canada is not really a great country for many immigrants, but you have many reasons to believe that still Canada is one of the best. So to explain how Canada is not really a great country, or to explain how Canada is believed to be such a great country, you could use fact, statistics, generalizations, historical background, or explanation. All these can serve the purpose. Okay. So now we know what an introductory paragraph is. You have a grabber, you have intro, and the thesis statement. That's introduction. Body paragraphs are different. You start with the main idea of your paragraph, and you continue with supporting sentences. Body paragraph, no conclusion. Okay, it's body paragraph. A topic sentence is the main idea of the paragraph. It's the most general sentence in the paragraph. So we are not talking about essay anymore. We're talking about paragraphs. It's not too broad or too specific for a paragraph or 200 words. It's not a fact, not a question, not a statistics. And a topic sentence should not have a reason. Like, don't say because in your first sentence of the body paragraph. A topic sentence should be an argument. So same thing, please refer to our lecture on argumentation. Topic sentence should not be an announcement. Don't say this paragraph is going to be about. Don't say I'm going to talk about this in this paragraph. Don't announce it, just write it. A topic sentence should be related to the thesis. Absolutely. A topic sentence, now we have some examples. If the thesis is this, as we had before, then your topic sentence should be about low payment. So many employers in Canada do not pay a fair salary to Asian immigrants compared to other employees, right? So in this case, your topic sentence is related to the first part of your thesis statement. Then you have to support that idea. To support that idea, you can use reasons. You can have facts and how this fact proves your point. You can use statistics and how this statistic can prove your point. You can use explanation and clarify things and then prove your point. You can use logical consequences. Logical consequence means cause and effect. If this happens, then that happens, then that happens, then I prove my point. You can use informed opinion. That is quotation, paraphrase, summary, and then interpret them. It means you do some research and you find some ideas from a scholar, and you use those ideas in this form: quotation, paraphrase, or summary, and prove your point, interpret it and prove your point using that evidence. You should also use rebuttal. That is counter argument and answering the opposition. Please refer to our lecture about rebuttal and answering the opposition. You could also compare Canada with another country, for example, in order to prove your point. So these are some of the things you could do in your paragraph to prove your topic sentence. Other topic sentences for our example is Asian employees often see much less respect compared to their non-Asian colleagues. Another topic sentence is many employers, sorry, there is a typo here. Many employers tend to discriminate their Asian employees by not promoting them. So as you see, the first paragraph was about paying less. The second paragraph is going to be about respect, and the third paragraph is going to be about promotion. So your topic sentences are related to your thesis. Now, what about conclusion? Conclusion, unlike body paragraphs, have three parts: recap, so what, and memorable statement. What are these? Recap means repeat your argument in a fresh way. Rewrite it, restate it, restate the topics, the thesis statement in a fresh way. So you start your conclusion by repeating your argument, and then you should answer the question, so what? So what basically tells the reader what is the conclusion of all that said. It can include answering the opposition, declaring some disclaimers or qualifiers, or suggestions, solutions, and call to actions. All right, what are these? Answering the opposition is rebuttal, counter argument. We will talk about it in class, where we have already. Declaring some disclaimer. Every study, every research has some limitations. You can talk about the limitation of your study in your conclusion. And you can also use qualifiers. Qualifiers, we will talk about qualifiers later on in class, where we have already, and that means when you use some words and phrases or sentences to say that I'm not 100% accurate. All right, things like may, might, could, they actually are qualifiers instead of 100%, I'm sure. Suggestion, solution, call to action, pretty much the same thing. You have a problem and you give a suggestion to solve that problem in your conclusion. Memorable statement is something that keeps the reader thinking even after finishing the essay. All right. Could be a quotation, it could be a question, and it could be a thought-provocative statement. Again, I tell you, it's a sentence that still, and when I read that sentence, the last sentence, it's like the last punch. It keeps me thinking about what your argument is. All right. Now that we know all the components and structure of a 5-paragraph essay, I want to talk about cohesion. Cohesion means all the ideas are related to one another. Everything that you write, you say, stick together in one argument. Here I've shown it in this photo. Yeah, 5 paragraphs. We have a grabber, intro, and thesis statement. Let's say the thesis statement says something like, something is wrong because of A, B, and C. Then the first paragraph is going to be about A. The second paragraph is going to be about B. The third one is going to be about C. And the sentences in the paragraph is going to be about A. The sentences in B paragraph should be about B. Here about C. Conclusion, rewrite the thesis statement. It goes back to the thesis statement. So what is the solution to these problems or what have you? And then memorable statement. Look how everything goes back to the thesis statement. So the thesis statement is like the pillars of our essay. The thesis statement is like the backbone of our essay, and everything else tries to support the thesis statement. See, A goes back to thesis, B goes back to B, C goes back to C, and this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. Everything together completes our essay and creates cohesion. Of course, cohesion also in the paragraph is created by other elements that we will talk about later on, or we have already. But if you have ideas in your body paragraphs related to your thesis statement and ideas in the body paragraph related to your topic sentence, you are 50% cohere. You have cohesion in for 50% of your essay writing. I hope this video is useful. Okay, thank you.